What elements must be present for a contract to be legally binding? Contract law is a set of rules that is helping parties make agreements with each other. To make a valid contract, both parties must agree to the same thing and follow certain rules. A contract is finally an agreement between two parties that is legally binding. A contract has rules, and if someone breaks those, they may have to pay money or do something else to make up for it. Contract law and formation helps us understand how to make contracts. Hello and welcome to this video on contract law and the formation of contracts. Whether you're a business owner, employee, or just a consumer, understanding contract law is essential to protect your rights and interests. In this video, we will cover the basics of contract law and the formation of contracts. Let's start with the basics. What is a contract? A contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties. The parties agree to perform certain obligations and receive certain benefits in return. Contracts can be in written or verbal form, and they are enforceable by law. To create a valid contract, certain elements must be present. These include offer. An offer is a proposal made by one party to another party to enter into a contract. It must be definite and certain in its terms. Acceptance. Acceptance is the agreement by the other party to the terms of the offer. It must be communicated to the offeror. Consideration. Consideration is the benefit each party receives or expects from the contract. It can be in the form of money, goods, or services. Intent to create legal relations. Both parties must have the intention to be legally bound by the contract. There are different types of contracts, including unilateral contracts. In a unilateral contract, one party makes a promise in exchange for a specific act by the other party. For example, a reward for finding a lost pet. Bilateral contracts. In a bilateral contract, both parties exchange promises and are bound to perform their obligations under the contract. For example, a contract to purchase a product. Implied contracts. An implied contract is one where the agreement is not expressed in words but is instead implied by the conduct of the parties. For example, paying for a meal at a restaurant implies a contract for services and food. Contracts can be formed in several ways, including written contracts. A written contract is put into writing and signed by both parties. It can be a formal agreement or a simple memorandum of understanding. Oral contracts. An oral contract is made verbally between the parties. It can be as legally binding as a written contract. Implied contracts. Implied contracts are formed by the conduct of the parties and their actions. They can be created unintentionally through routine business practices. Let's look at some real-life examples of contracts. Employment contracts. When you start a new job, you sign an employment contract that outlines your job duties, salary, and benefits. Rental agreements. When you rent a house or apartment, you sign a lease agreement that outlines the terms and conditions of your tenancy. Purchase agreements. When you buy a car, you sign a purchase agreement outlining the sales price, payment terms, and conditions. In conclusion, contracts are an essential part of our daily lives, and it's important to understand the basics of contract law and the formation of contracts. By knowing the elements of a contract, the types of contracts, and the methods of contract formation, you can protect your rights and avoid costly disputes. We hope you found this video helpful, and thank you for watching.